What's up, everybody? John here. We just filmed episode 18 of Keeping It Local with Steve Borodkin from Ultimate Shades and Shutters. Now, let me tell you, if you are a new business owner, or even if you've been in business a while, or you're thinking about starting a business, this was one of the most informative and educational conversations that I have ever had. Steve knows so much about starting business and, number one, and most importantly, customer service and the way to treat people that has enabled him to restart this business 3 times and have tremendous success every single time. So let's tune in right now and hear what Steve has to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for episode 18 of Keeping It Local. And I am here with Steve Borodkin. Steve, thanks for jumping on today. Nice to meet you via Zoom.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. So let's just jump right in and give us a little rundown about your businesses, what you do and what you offer as a service.
Sure, thank you. So we are Ultimate Shades and Shutters. I've been in the industry for quite a long time, about 40 years. This is my third time in business. I keep trying to retire, but it's not working out for me. I enjoy what I do too much. What we offer as far as 2024 is pretty much a cutting edge project. We're right out there with all the new childproofing and motorized products, which are now solar generated and quite sustainable. So we're doing a large job and we're actually doing very well with that. We also manufacture draperies, we build custom furniture, supply hardware and installation, and then we buy most of the window treatments you see from the major manufacturers in the industry, Graber, Hunter Douglas, and so forth.
Interesting. All right. So you said something that piqued my interest right away because I have
Mm-hmm.
children,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of my listeners are around this age group too. So
Yeah.
tell us some of the things that you're seeing and doing with childproofing with this stuff.
Sure. So we're really pushing child safety because it is very important. As far as aesthetics, safety and application really matters to us. As far as child safety goes, as of June 1st, there are no real cord systems that are being used to lift the product up and down, meaning you can get something called a cord loop, but there's no more pull cords. You actually had to pull them. Now, what a wonderful feature is a cordless product, meaning you just simply walk over to any type of a shade, whether it be a blind, a honeycomb, or anything else, and just simply lift it to where you want and lower it. No chains, nothing for the kids or the pets to get involved with. Also, less is more. It's a wonderfully non-complex system that really, really helps the consumer and is not expensive.
Mm. That's huge. Not having no strings. I could see immediately how much more comfortable people
Yes, and
feel.
for people that have existing shades where they have cords and stuff coming down, they now offer different types of tension and protective chain systems that we can retrofit to almost anybody's window.
Wow, that's great. I mean, it's like the worst things you see. I feel as a parent, as not a parent, whatever, like, when you see those news things that come across about something tragic happening to a kid,
Yeah.
to something that you would never think that you would think is so innocuous and just not harmful, and you would never even think twice about it, and then all of a sudden you hear this story and then it makes you rethink everything. So it's great that these industries are still working and innovating and trying to make everything as safe as
On a
possible.
very large scale. A lot of us got letters from Homeland Security saying
Really?
that this was implemented. So it is a big deal. Not a lot of children get involved, but one's too many.
Yeah.
And so that's how we work. That's
Hmm.
how we work it. So yeah, like I said, we're retrofitting a lot of existing systems where people now know that this exists. They don't want to invest in a new treatment, but they want to make sure for all types of purposes, even people with rentals and so forth, it's less for the tenant or the occupant to break.
Hmm. Yeah, that was another thing I was going to mention is the fact that those cords always seem to break. You go to a house with the cords and one of them
Yeah,
doesn't work, or you got the old ones, you had to
yeah,
like, it was like milking a
yeah.
cow. You had to figure
Yeah,
out what to
again,
do.
less is more. They make motorized options now as well that, like I said, are solar powered. You have a little solar patch that fits on the window behind the shade, and it trickles in the energy. You never have to recharge it. You don't even have to touch the shade. You hit a little button on your wall or by the side of your bed or whatever. People have them on their phones as well. You can control your window treatments as well as your lighting and so forth from just your cell phone.
Mm. So that kind of, yeah, that's one of the things that we're seeing obviously a lot of trends in with real estate is a lot more of the smart home upgrades. So that
Mhm.
I guess fits into that category where you're controlling everything from your phone from an app. And I mean, do these connect to other smart devices as well where they could kind of control multiple
Yes.
features?
Yes, each manufacturer has what they call a hub, which is a central interface. That interface can work with any major motorized system, or any major manufacturer. Hunter Douglas has their own. Alta Sampi, which is a leader in the industry, is somebody we go to all the time for cutting edge technology and for quality, and they all have that type of simplicity.
Hmm. And I love the idea of the solar. And so I guess that doesn't require does the panel literally stick onto the window, or do you have to attach it to the siding? What's the story with that?
No, it usually sticks onto the window. You have to find a place. Um, like anything else, the most important part of a window treatment is so much the application. And so where things are going to fit in that it's clear to the customer how things are going to look. A solar patch is basically a little bit longer than a pack of cigarettes and a little bit narrower. And it sticks on to the glass, either at the top of the window, the bottom window, the side of the window, and it trickles in the power and holds it in a condenser. They still make them where you can charge them, where you plug them in like your phone. But on a lot of applications where the windows are 20, 30 feet in the air, or it's a trapezoidal window, or it's something that's out of the ordinary, even an older population, and I'm qualified to say that, will absolutely, love to have this type of a system. It's you just walk up to the window and you hit a button. Some people have them on timers. So yeah.
Never even thought of it, but yeah, it makes so much sense. You want the blinds to go down and come up, boom.
Yeah, if you're not home, it's a wonderful security thing too. The lights go on, shades come down, you cancel your newspapers, your mail, whatever, and people think you live in there. And
Yeah,
it's super
yeah.
important in this day and age to make sure that you're covered, you know.
Yep, I hadn't even thought of that. And security, yeah, it's definitely a big piece of it.
Yeah.
Now I find that when I'm dealing with new home buyers, first time home buyers, one of the first things they ask me about when we're getting ready to close is about security systems and what we recommend and everything. So,
It's
um,
huge. It's huge.
yeah.
We're looking for an application to interface with Ring, which would be a wonderful thing because they're at the cutting edge of home security as well.
Hmm. And what would be the connection there? What so it would work through Ring or
It
when
would be
something
a dashboard on your phone, yes, and you would have a timer. The shades go up and down, and then you do the regular Ring thing. People come to the door, you record, you talk, you this, you that. But it's an important part of home security. It's an important part of keeping your interior of your home in good shape, especially when it comes to a solar type of shade where you're not home. A lot of our clients are out here in the Hamptons.
hmm
Uh, and they have a lot of sun that comes through the windows, burns the carpet, the artwork, the furniture. So we have solar shades that take out 95% of the AV and the UV, and they're on timers. So they're not home, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sun comes through, shades come down automatically on a sensor, sun sensor,
hmm
and they protect your furniture.
Now, does that help too with any energy efficiency, like with the air conditioning? Does the
Yes.
house not heat up as much as well?
Yes, absolutely. What you get is something that I like to call cold light. You get the same amount of light, you get a view, and you save money on your electric over time. It's a wonderful application. We've been selling it for years. I'm pushing it more and more these days because the windows are becoming larger and larger, and there's all kinds of applications. We can probably fit any type of a solar product to any type of a window these days.
Wow, that's amazing. Um, so what do you see as some So let's go the first time home buyer route, right? I'm a first time home buyer, blah blah blah. I'm getting into a house. Like, what are some affordable but good options that like first time home buyers should consider when they're getting window treatments and everything? And since we've brought up these concepts of like energy saving and
Hmm.
not damaging your stuff inside, what's some cost effective things that they could do to help with all this through window treatments?
Yeah, it's a great question. And each client is different. So that
Hey, what's up, guys? John from the Nest Egg team here. Thank you for watching so far. Really quickly, the real estate market is constantly changing. So if you're wondering what your home value is or how much equity you have in your home currently, click the link below in the description and you'll find out very quickly. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the show.
there are entry level products, and each product, as you choose more and more options, becomes more expensive. What I encourage people to do is when they're moving in, as soon as they close, let's take a walk. Let's go into each room. Let's see where the windows are facing, what type of light, what type of privacy, how much do you want, what you really want. What a wonderful thing is about my philosophy and what I've instilled in my crew, uh, especially when it comes to our clients, and less is more. Less is more. You don't need every single bell and whistle that comes with these shades. Just like buying a car, it has nothing to do with the MSRP. At the end of the day, you spent another $2,000 and you're going to ask me why. And I'm simply going to tell you because you didn't need to do that. Right? And so there are different rooms with different priorities. If it's a larger project, I ask people right off the bat what's more important. And as we go through the house and we install their shades, which takes months, we also have temporary shades that we give people. They're paper pleated shades. You've seen them, and we just simply put them up, and it gives the client a chance to step back and to absorb the new paint, the new furniture, the new rug, to get a pile of dirty dishes in their sink, to really kind of live there and see what it's like to wake up in the morning and see this light and that light. Take your time. The whole idea, our philosophy is that we sell, but we don't worry about making the sale. The sale will come. The whole idea is education. And quite honestly, and quite frankly, there's so much crap out there that's diluted my industry. There are people who sell things that they know nothing about, and there are larger box companies that sell products that are much less expensive what me and other people like me offer. And education is the most important thing. If you educate your client and you're honest and you're fair in your pricing and you want to come back the next day, then you'll do the right thing and you'll tell them less is more. And that's really the key. It's key. And every small job, I can get a phone call off of one of these apps like Nextdoor to fix a vertical blind, and I'll go there for nothing and I'll fix that blind. And 3 weeks later, I'll get a phone call and it's a $10,000 job. And I am humble. And
Yeah.
it's not my intention. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, that's why you've been in business for 40 years, right
Yeah,
there. Like
yeah.
that's
And anybody that works for me has that same philosophy. There's
yeah.
no rush. It's ease and flow. I appreciate every window that I measure. So, yeah.
But you know what? The thing you said there, you said a lot of really great things there for perspective like entrepreneurs and business owners. But the thing that I love the most is take your time because especially again, I work with a lot of first time home buyers and for younger people, that is a hard concept. It's hard for them to have that delayed gratification because we're so used to getting everything so instantly. And I'm a victim of that myself.
Mhm.
Um, but to have someone step back, to have the person who's selling you the product and tell you slow down, like take your time. You don't need to make a decision today. Where I feel like that has probably built so much trust with you and your customers, and I'm sure you get a significant amount of repeat referral business
We
because of
are
this.
friends. I
Yeah,
am friends with every client that I have. Some of them hug me after the first time that I meet them. They also use me for a huge resource because everybody that I do business with is as crazy as I am when it comes to customer service.
yeah,
Um, and that's the most important thing to me. When it comes down to window treatments and carpeting and painting and finishing, a lot of young couples or people who are just starting over or moving have already run out of money. They are now down to the point where they really want the house to look nice. Like going to the gym, you want to put a good suit on. You spent a lot of money on construction. Now what?
Right.
What can I afford? And that's when you have to step back and you say,
Yeah.
what do you want? And I'll simply tell them, no, no, you don't need that. Yeah.
Which again is so contrary to what I feel like we get a lot of times. And I do feel like we're getting more educated and people are understanding more that no one wants to be sold on anything. They just,
No.
if the client doesn't have the money, they don't have the money, and it's going to be the end of the line at that point. If they do have the money, it's going to be about who they feel is trying to do most right by them, not
Yeah.
sell them the most amount of stuff. And I feel
Yeah.
like we're the people who have been doing business a long time, not that I am, but folks
Mhm.
like you who have been doing this for a really long time and you've had a very successful business, you've been doing that forever. And that's why you are so successful. And it's the people who don't do that that you might have quick success, you might have,
Yeah.
but is it going to stay? Probably not.
Yeah. If you want to press people to make a sale before you leave, and you want to bring a tablet and you have your invoicing on there and you can price it out and give them an estimate, it never works. It never works. If you're going to a measurement and in an application, you're introducing yourself, and there's somebody spending $2,000 on 4 windows. Do you really have the chutzpah to ask them for a deposit before you walk out the door? Some people, I leave my colors and my samples with them for weeks because I want them to see what it's like in the dark at night. I want their 800 relatives to come by and tell them yes and no. I want them to be completely confused and to say, Steve, what do you think? And I'll say the choice is yours. And it always comes down to their choice. It's the long way, but it's okay. It's the right way.
Yeah, like you said, it's the right way, exactly, because it's going to take a little longer, but what's going to come from that too is where my brain goes to immediately. Like I know that you are probably getting so many referrals from clients like, you have to use Steve, that's it. He's amazing, he's the best. He'll leave your samples, you can feel it out. It's so funny that you brought that up about leaving the samples because before I was an agent and I was buying my house,
Mhm.
like after when the night we closed and we spent the first night in the house, you're here, and I tell my buyers this now. I'm like, look, you're gonna hear noises, they might freak you out. I'm like, they really should give you like a 2-night trial or a 2-day trial in the house
Yeah,
before you buy it.
yeah,
Like you should be able to spend a weekend there and see, like, okay,
that's
does
right.
this actually fit my needs?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
you think
I
about
agree
it,
with
like you're spending six, 700, $800,000 on a house, and it's like I don't spend a night in there. I know how it looks and I like it and how I want to decorate it, but I don't know how it
you. Yeah.
feels yet.
Yeah, everything takes time. Buying a house is one thing. Decorating a house is another thing. We have a huge clientele of interior designers and builders and contractors, and a smart interior designer, a smart builder will have a great team behind them that makes them look good. We
Mhm.
show up, we don't say much, we take our measurements, we have a once a week meeting, and we figure out what it is and we present it as a group. Like I said, when I walk into some of my clients, I walk in with the team behind me. If I walk into a construction site, I just referred a wonderful woman, lives in Southampton, to a great electric company out here. They never heard from me before, but I hear about them all the time from other vendors.
Mhm.
This client, like every other client, has become a very good friend of mine, and we're doing a wonderful job with her. I
Hey, what's up, guys? John again. Sorry to bother you and interrupt, but if you like what you're seeing, then please click that like and subscribe button. The great thing about keeping it local is you're meeting local businesses and local entrepreneurs who provide phenomenal service. So, this is almost like an initial job interview into someone that you might have in your own home to provide this job or service. So, again, if you like what you're seeing, click that like button, click that subscribe button. Other than that, let's get back to the program.
I referred her to these people. They called her this morning. She loves me.
And
I am late on my delivery for her window treatments. I am a month behind
oh, wow.
because of the supply chain. I
Right.
am backed up and I took a very large deposit. She said to me, it's okay.
And that tells
And
you you're doing it right. That's
it's
it.
peace of mind. It's
Yeah.
peace of mind.
Yep.
If you tell the truth, you have nothing to think about.
That's I always, I a lot of my businesses referral from past clients, from friends, from family. And I was talking about a buddy the other day. He referred me someone who might list a condo, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, he's like, I love John, blah blah blah." And I'm like, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I just think they like me because I'm honest, because I'm not trying to sell them. Being honest, and again, I'm not pressing them. I'm not saying, no, you got to move now. The market's telling you got to list now. You don't know. It's just like, hey, look here. I'm just having honest conversations with people. They ask me what I think. I explain what I think. I explain, what their options are, and that's it. I just leave it at that. And it's at some point, if they choose to go with me, that's great. If not, at least they know that I'm going to be honest. I've had people that have called me afterwards, and said, "Hey, like we're involved with someone. Like we had to use an aunt, because she was
Mhm.
so and so's aunt. We couldn't say no to her. So sorry, would have loved to use you, but this is what's going on. What do you think?" And I'm just, yeah, sure. Hey, look, this ask her these questions. Throw these options at your
Right.
aunt and see what
Right.
happens.
Yeah.
And it's just about treating people right. That's it. Because I
Yeah.
hate being mistreated. That's the only. I hate feeling like I'm being taken, and I never want to do that to
That's right.
somebody.
That's the whole idea, especially
Yeah.
when you go back to somebody's house and you're installing it. When you go there the first time, it's one thing. When you go back the second time, it's drop cloths, it's booties, it's spackle, it's a very fine line because we clean so well sometimes that I have to tell my guys to slow down. I don't want it to look cleaner than it did before we got there. Like
Hmm.
we're crazy when it comes to respect and people's homes and that screw in the wall. My installers are installers. They're with me 5 or 6 days a week. They don't drive cabs. They're not waiters. They don't do this part-time. They are trained. They are insured. And I love to micromanage. And consequently, out of thousands of window treatments that we've installed, I can proudly say that I've made my share of mistakes, but that's okay. Most of the time, it's a beautiful thing. And,
Yeah.
and that's the most important thing.
I
To
mean,
me,
that's
it's the most
construction,
important.
right? Like, there's gonna
Yeah.
be you never know. I've said this 20 times on this show. You never know where you're gonna find when you start doing like things can happen. You never know. There could be termite damage. You're plugging into that wall, and then boom, it
Yep.
falls apart.
There's a bump in every road. There's a
Yep.
bump in every road. Lots of times you get called into a job, and as they say, there's already a hole in the side of the ship. Now what do? You
Hmm.
have to do as best as you can, minimize the damage to the client, and try to come out alive.
Hmm.
That's, and there's a lot of people out here selling what I sell who are like in any other industry. You can read online in any one of these Facebook groups, these horror stories.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how people get away with it. And it makes me look bad.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. It is crazy how in the world that we live in now, where information is so abundant, that you can put yourself out there and not be doing a good job is crazy. And it's
Because
scary that
people are
people are
very good
still
at masking who they are.
that is absolutely true.
People are very good. They've mastered that social media thing where they are not who they say they are, and they get the job and they think that that's okay. But I would tell you that the average customer, the average consumer, on my part, is already very educated by the time they get to me.
Mm. How so? Like, how does that happen?
Well, so they're either I'm dealing with one woman now. She's starting her life over again. She's in her 50s, and she knows what she wants. Why? Because she's online all the time. And she sends me pictures all the time. And a lot of vendors like myself, a lot of contractors, please leave me alone. I can't. Just tell me what you want. But I love that back and forth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And consequently, I've been working with her for 7 months, six
Wow.
months, and the cost of the job keeps going like this, and she's buying things and she's taking things away. But the point is that she's here and she's getting what she's supposed to get.
Right. She's getting what she wants. She's not getting your
Getting what she
significant.
wants. It's costing me a little more, but it's always one step back, two steps forward.
Yeah.
It's very easy to be dishonest it's a lot more pleasurable to be honest with people, do the
Yeah.
right thing.
And
That's that's
And
the
you
success.
know, it's but the fact that you've been, I'm sure someone out there would say like, well, you've been in a business for, I'm gonna be devil's advocate. You've been in a business 40 years, Steve. Like you have everything you need in the business, blah blah blah. But since you were doing that day one, that's what made your business. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I've made connections now where I'm actually dealing with the son or the daughter or the grandchildren of the people who actually started that company. So my resources run super deep. And that gives me a wonderful sense of ease and flow because I know any window that I can come up against, I have no problem covering. We just did a series of trapezoidal windows
Hmm.
out in the Hamptons that are actually move and are not giving this woman any problem.
Wow.
And I challenge anybody else out there to do it. So, no.
Bring me a
But it all,
window.
yeah, but it all comes from connections and longevity, and knowing the right people. And you're only going to attract those people to yourself if you do the right thing. They're going to
Right.
see this is a visual business.
Yeah. But I love that you're also just letting them take their time, figuring out what they want. And then I'm sure there's a lot of guidance that's built in there that takes the time, but that comes from someone who, like you said, like if you had to rate your top three things in your business, I feel like customer service is at the top.
It's the first three
Yeah.
because in between the lines of the first three things that are customer service come a plethora of things that make that customer service possible.
Mm,
You have to have knowledge, you have to not be in a rush, and you have to be comfortable with what you're selling, and all that has to come through in confidence. And then customer service is kid stuff.
it really is just treating people right, like being honest.
What's so hard?
Yeah. Seriously.
Tell me what's so hard? It's so hard to be a pain in the ass.
And some people focus a lot on that.
They love it. They love it. They
Yeah,
can keep their misery. You
exactly.
know, window treatment should make people happy. Carpeting and paint jobs and all the finishing. You want to go
Mhm.
home at night. You want to forget about everything. You don't want to turn the TV on. You don't want to look at social media. You know, you just want to go home and go, wow, this is beautiful. This is
Yeah,
worth the money that I spent.
I love that. So I'm going to ask you, since you've been doing this so long and you're obviously extremely accomplished and you know a lot just about being in business, what would you give advice wise to someone who is just starting out, like in any business? Just general advice for someone who's starting a business that's in some kind of service, let's say. What would you say to them?
I would say do your homework first. I would say don't worry about failure. There's no such thing.
Mm,
I would say choose a niche that's within your industry, and I would approach it with as much passion as possible. And in the beginning, it's hard not to worry about the money,
mm,
but there's two ways to worry about money. There's worrying about money where you need seed money to start, and there's worrying about making the sale. You cannot let your fear transpose over to your clients. Do not come across needy. Take your time, do your homework, let it flow. There's no way that you cannot be successful.
mm.
It's impossible not to have some type of success. Like going to the gym, you go there and after 6 months, you flex your muscles, you go, wow. It's the same thing. You look back, I just started this business again. Recently, this is my third time. And I look through my files about the work that's going on. It's always been there. The money is there, the clients are there. The trick is how are you going to adapt? What are you going to do? Not everybody has a backer or 50 or 60 or $100,000 to start a business. A
Hmm.
lot of these new entrepreneurs, they're starting with nothing but a great idea.
Hmm.
You have to utilize every aspect that you can to get your money's worth. I'm big on social media. I don't pay for my social media.
Hmm.
I cut and paste. I write content. I'm on the same group that I found you on, that we found each other on. I'm
Yeah.
on 8 different groups. I have pages of content. I switch them out. I just posted again today. I've been on Nextdoor for 2 or 3 years. I just got an email from somebody who said, I've seen you for the last 2 years. So you have to be able to stay in business long enough to stay in business.
Mhm. Mm.
And that's a little hodgepodge, that advice, but you asked me off the top of my head, so you got that.
You
That's
said one of the smart, I've had a lot of people on here, and that was one of the smartest things that anyone has said is you can't worry about money. It's so important because I feel like that is, that is a big driving fear for anybody that's starting a business is,
You cannot take the money from the customer. You earn the money from your customer. You take the money from the people who gave you the seed money and
mm,
you thank them humbly if you're lucky enough.
right.
This business, I'll be honest with you, I started with a deposit that I got on my first job. I went to the bank, I opened a business account, and I haven't looked back.
That's
And
amazing.
it's all about fear and it's all about confidence. It's
Hmm.
all about believing in who you are. And that transposes into any part of your life. You have to bring whoever you
Hey, what's up, guys? John from the Nest Egg team here. Thank you for watching so far. Really quickly, the real estate market is constantly changing. So if you're wondering what your home value is or how much equity you have in your home currently, click the link below in the description and you'll find out very quickly. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the show.
are to what you're going to do.
Mm. So it's about when you're starting out, it's about providing the service so that the client wants to work with you, and that's where you will
Yeah.
get your sale from. That's where the money will come from. It's not
Yeah.
about I want the sale, I want the money,
Yeah.
because
Right. Don't think about closing. Think about making friends. Think
and
about
that's
making friends.
it's so simple. It blows my mind how simple it is. It's so simple, and you've done it now 3 times. So
Yeah.
you started this business over again 3 times. Is that
Over and over again. I had it once. First time I started it was 1988. My wife at the time called me and said, we're going to have my first son, my only son, actually. I
Mhm.
walked into my boss, told him I quit, took one of his customers, made $89 profit. In 3.5 years, I was up to over $2.5 million a year. I had 3 trucks and 6 men. I was running it off my kitchen table. And
Wow.
we were doing that in Manhattan. Sold the business, started it again. It wasn't as successful, but it was. Thought I'd retire. That didn't work. I decided to work for somebody else. That was even a worse of a choice. And by choice, because everything is by choice, I decided nobody's going to take care of me better than I am. And nobody's going to take care of my family or care about them more than I will. So
Mm.
what do I do the best? What do I do? What's the easiest way? And this was the easiest way. It's in 50 years, this industry has never let me down.
That's
Every
amazing.
time I've asked this industry for something, it has rewarded me. And as an entrepreneur, as a new entrepreneur, that is your goal, to be rewarded,
Mm.
pay for service.
But you could see just from talking to you and listening to you the amount of respect and reverence you have for what it sounds like what this business has given you,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
that's something that has to be developed, I feel like, too, with people. It's you have to be ready to receive that you have to be ready to receive that vindication from
yeah.
the business.
It's like any other relationship. You're going to get out of it what you put into it.
Hmm.
It's like anything else. And the reward is worth it. It's worth the time. I've learned real quickly, though, the one thing that probably comes with age is that you have to set boundaries
Mm.
because you get so exuberant and so excited that you don't want to get off the roller coaster. It's so much fun. But if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy the ride.
Right.
You have to get off and step back. And that's the most important part about any success is to step back and take a look at where you are compared to where you've come from.
Mm. So what do you do to set boundaries? Can you go into that a little bit just for yourself?
Sure. So what do I do to set boundaries? So I'm a musician.
Oh, yes, I saw that. I was going to ask you about
Yeah, I love to
that.
play music. My family played for years, so I'm in a band and I play. I like to write a little bit. I write poetry. I do this and that, but I also have created just a comfortable life for myself through choice. I make sure that it's self-care in the morning and everything happens between, I guess, 6 and 9 o'clock. And whatever that is, it sets me for 9 o'clock. And 9 o'clock, I walk into this office and I sit down and I start to work. But if you're
That's
not
your
kind
time.
to yourself,
Time with
there's
you.
no way to be kind to anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Impossible. Because in business, it'll gobble you up. It'll gobble you up. When I was younger and I was in Manhattan, I would love walking out of my door in the morning and get caught up on that conveyor belt. I
Mm.
would rock and roll for 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I made a ton of money. My kid went to college. We went away. We went on trips. But you know what? I burnt out.
Mm.
I wasn't present.
Mm. That's a big deal. That's a big
And
deal. But
that's a
it's
big
great that you
deal.
realize that.
That's right. And
Yeah.
that's my advice to anybody. Suave, take your time. Step back. Enjoy what you've created.
Well, and you're take your time. You're saying it to your clients, and you live it. You do it in your real life too, which is
Ease and flow.
yeah. And it's that I think that's another thing that, again, I am by no means like a business
Mhm.
magnate or anything like that. Customer service is really my big thing, but you're doing it in every aspect, like you said, who you are. You said this already, but now it's
Mhm.
actually, we're seeing it as I'm
Mhm.
speaking to you, is who you are is who you are everywhere. It's in your business, it's everywhere else.
Everywhere.
That's what you're bringing to the
I'm
table.
big on customer service, and we just happen to sell window treatments.
Yeah.
We do a really good job,
Yeah, yeah.
and I could brag, and I can tell you that I do a really good job. But we just happen to do that. I can sell shoes. I'd still give you the same customer service.
Right, right.
It's the same thing.
It's the methodology is all about the treatment of the people. It doesn't really matter what the product is.
Absolutely.
And that's,
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel the same way about anything. We started a teacher interview coaching business. A
Mm,
bunch of my friends are administrators. I'm also a teacher.
mm.
And they saw a major need for new candidates coming in who just, the interview skills are really, really lacking. It's tough for kids out of college, and those interviews are very difficult too, because it's really like one shot. You're going up against 500 candidates. You don't know if your answers are correct. So we created this now to where it's moving along, and it's coming along nicely, and we're just basically, I'm just giving out free checklists on Facebook all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you got an interview coming up, here's our interview checklist. This is from administrators. Like,
Mm.
this is what they want to see, basic stuff. And it's just that I'm like, all I want is for people to realize that this is a service where we can provide you help when you need
Yeah.
it. There's
Yeah.
no immediate need. You don't want to use us right away, that's fine.
Right.
But if you do decide you need us, we're here, and we have like the best group of people for you to potentially work with. And that's really it. It's just about provide, like, no one really knows that this is even a thing. There's only a few of them out there, so it's
Right.
very niche, but it's the same mentality I bring to real estate, where it's like, I can't walk into a house and not be completely planned with that person's property and their listing and their retirement. I take that so seriously. It does give me pause at times, where it's like,
Yeah.
I have to make sure I am doing everything I can
Right.
perfectly, the best way I
Right.
know how, to make
Right.
sure that they cash in. Because ultimately, like, why is someone selling their house? They need to cash in. They want to retire. They want to move. And for me to fumble that in any way, shape, or form, like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So it does. I'm listening to what you said, and now I'm processing all these things, like, about
Yeah.
the boundaries, because the boundary is like, I have to have everything planned out perfectly for them, and for me, so that this way I don't stay up at night. Like, things go according to the plan and it works, and
Yeah.
it's customer service.
It's all and it's about, like, I carry this notebook around with me.
Mhm.
I put everything in here, and it's day to day, and I write it down, and I go from list to list, and it buys me peace of mind. And if I write it with a pen or a pencil and I put it in the book, it's already imprinted in my mind. So Monday's schedule is already done on Friday
Right.
because I know what's going on. I have a planner here, and that peace of mind is everything to me
Mhm.
because it all goes with boundaries. That peace of mind affords me Saturday and Sunday. Sunday around here is a sacred day.
Mm.
it's a sacred day because really nothing really happens. Maybe a little bit of planning, this and that. If
Right.
somebody calls me on a Sunday, even though I can provide them with that answer right then and there, I'll be in the office on Monday. My office is in my house. I'm not lying. I
Yeah.
will be in this room on Monday.
Right.
I'm going to walk into this room. And so, I had a celebrity account that I was doing business with over the last 2 or 3 months.
Hmm.
And they would text me on a Sunday, an icon, and they would text me on a Sunday, Stevie, blah, 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 blah. I'll let you know on Monday.
Your boundary. That's it.
Let you know on Monday.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. You can have one window, you can have 1,000 windows. It makes no difference
Mm.
because it sets a precedent and it's very important. Your customer will respect you.
See, and that I'm not going to ask you who the celebrity was, but I did want to hear the celebrity's reaction to that. How did they take it?
That's right. She loved me. She loved me. She would text me from her boat in Italy. And now that we're not doing business, we're not friends anymore. But
Hmm.
she'll remember me, and
Right.
she introduced me to somebody equally as famous as her drapist or her draper. And now it's over. I knew it was going to be over, but while it
Yeah.
was going on, it was pretty freaking cool to be sitting here on a Sunday watching a football game or a baseball game and get a text from an icon, you know. But the point is that it's boundaries, and everybody's the same.
Yeah.
When it comes down to a window or a house or anything, it's just a house.
Yeah.
It's just a window. And relax. Although I believe that what you're doing is a lot more stressful than I'm doing. I'm doing one or two windows. You're doing a house, which is like a life-changing ordeal. So you have a much bigger stress level than I do.
Well, I don't know because I know how my wife was with window treatments, and that seems
Right.
way more
Right.
stressful
You're
than that.
right. You're
But
right.
I mean, no, because monetarily there's such a difference, right? But at the same time, um, ultimately I think it depends on the person because I know that there are people who will be more crazy about what you're doing than they
Mhm.
will be about getting that actual house
Yeah.
because some people really do just look at it as it's an investment. This is,
Right.
as my, I don't, a vehicle is a wrong term, but it's a
Right.
vehicle for investing for me to live in this house and I don't
Yeah.
really care. But the way it looks on the inside, nothing matters more than that. So, but it's for me, it's all about process with real estate. Like we have everything laid out because again, I can't work any other way than this because I
Yeah.
will forget things, and that is a
I
trait that
get
I'm
it.
very aware of. Like something could slip through the cracks if I
I
don't
get it.
have checklists that go through
Yeah.
every single thing. So like when we have a new buyer that comes on, like I have like we use a thing called Trello, which is great. It's totally free.
Mhm.
It's a workflow app. Um, and it's a like Kanban, I think it's called. So like you move the card of the client over to the next phase,
Nice.
but for each phase there's a checklist and it's like okay, like, and I have a business partner so he knows too. It's like all right, where are we at? Okay, well we did this and this, what's next on the checklist? Oh, we got to do that. We know who's hitting what. And then when we move to the listing side, it's like okay, now we have our next set of checklists. Boom, 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 boom. We hit all those things. I know if I hit these things we're going to be okay, and
Right.
that's it. But it also sets up the expectations with the client too, which I feel is a big thing. Before the next checklist hits, they're getting hit with an email that tells them, here's what's coming
Yeah.
next.
Be organized. When I go to somebody's house and I take that initial measurement,
Uh-huh.
I'll put in my appointment book for 4 days later to follow up. When I take the order and I get the deposit, as soon as I place that order with the vendor, in my appointment book for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks out, check on order, installation date, I forget about it. It falls off the radar until I turn the page to August 21st. I go, oh, right. But I'm all ready.
Right.
And it's that because you know how bad you feel if you let somebody down.
It's the worst.
It's so
It's the worst.
horrible when I let somebody down. Sometimes it's my fault. Sometimes it's a vendor's fault. But I've noticed when that happens, it's because I'm a little too anxious and I'm trying to please them too quickly. And I'm trying to bend to what they want me to do. And any successful contractor will always have a gentle lead on their client. You will never let the client lead you
Mm.
because it's like a car with no brakes.
Mm,
It's not gonna work.
that is an absolute golden nugget right there.
It's a golden nugget, and
Yep.
you only learn by getting screwed. There is no cheap education. It's
Nope.
impossible.
Nope.
Impossible.
It just brought I had clients that buyers and I worked with them for over a year and a half, and to me I kind of got the sense there was going to be a break of the relationship because I didn't feel like they were going to move forward. You know, we had seen 100, 200 houses, and I had other business coming in that I felt like I kind of have to prioritize. And for whatever reason, I don't know, I might have not been providing them the best service at the time. I don't know. But then, to find out, like, they text me like, hey, we're gonna take a break from looking and everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, and like that's fine. I'll reach out, we'll pick it back up. And then a month later, they were like closed on a house. So I was
Right.
like, man, at first I was mad and I was like, I spent a year and a half, blah blah blah. And then I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Like they made their decision, that's fine. If
Right.
I obviously wasn't good enough, how can I get better from this? What am I going to do next time to not allow this to happen?
Right.
And go
Right.
from there. And that's it.
You can beat yourself in the head too, but you don't know how many people they abused before they even got to you.
That's true.
Or how many you'll abuse after you're gone. You're just a little match in
Absolutely.
a pack of matches.
All right. Well, listen, I could talk about this for hours because you
Yeah,
are
thank
a
you.
wealth of knowledge. So the new way we're ending the show. Well, before that, just tell us one more time where people can find you, what they could reach out to you for all the services and everything, and then we'll do our
Sure.
last
Thank
question.
you. Thank you. So the name of the company is Ultimate Shades and Shutters. We do window treatments, shutters, blinds, honeycomb shades. We build furniture and drapery. Fully equipped to do any type of motorized system. My phone number is 917-776-3497. You can call me directly at any time of day or text. My email is steve at theultimateshades with an s.com. And the website is www.theultimateshades.com. And John, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate this
I really
opportunity.
appreciate the knowledge that you imbued on myself and everybody who listens to this. It's not a huge audience by any means, but I'm sure
It's
there's going
fine.
to get a lot of views for this because there's a lot of great information that and great advice that you were able to give. And you cover all of Long Island, anywhere.
We cover, yeah, Nassau County, Long Island, all of Long Island, all of Suffolk, all the East End, of course, the Hamptons and stuff. We do work down in Florida, and we do work out in LA if needed.
Oh wow.
Manhattan, yeah, I'll go to Manhattan if it's big enough. You have to drag me into Manhattan, but I'll go. I think I had enough work in there.
You did
I don't
enough.
mean to be a snob, but it's enough.
No, I feel the same way. I don't want to travel anywhere anymore. I'm just like getting to the
Yeah,
point where I don't want to
I'm
sit.
not a snob. I'm just older.
Yeah, that's at some point it's like, oh,
Right,
it's a little
right.
bit of a grind to get there.
Boundaries, boundaries.
Exactly. The boundary for me, the boundary ends at like mid Nassau, I think. Like
Yeah, there you go. Me too. Around Babylon or Glen Cove or something like
yeah, yeah. All
that.
right. So last question, since I'm big on referrals. So what is
Mhm.
one of your favorite? It could be any of your favorite like local businesses. It could be a restaurant, it could be a service, anything that you just love and want to give a shout out to.
Sure. So there's a great local hardware store that I use all the time here in Hampton Bays called Shinnecock Hardware.
Mm,
Knowledgeable, friendly. They have great merchandise, a great display of it. Really quick, if I can just give one more shout out.
absolutely.
So there's a wonderful restaurant here called Centro. It's on Montauk Highway in Hampton Bays.
Hmm.
And ownership just changed. And I would recommend that place on any level, from staff to food, to ambiance, to price. That's my go-to.
Centro. Okay.
Yeah, Centro. So,
Nice. That's well, I love restaurant referrals. So next time I'm in if I'm ever out there in Hampton Bays, I'm definitely
Delicious.
gonna check it out. All right. Well, listen, Steve Borodkin, thank you so much for coming on. Again, this was a great education for me, so I truly appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
learned a
John. It
lot.
was a great opportunity for me and everybody at Ultimate Shades. We all thank you. So
Oh, well, thank you. I really do appreciate you coming on. And that'll be it. And if you need any type of shades, any type of custom furniture, anything, Steve sounds like the right guy. So, Steve, part of what I've been doing here is like, I want to treat this as like a pre-interview for people, especially like next year, where if you need something like, and now they're getting to know you and it's like, hey, you know, this is someone who is telling you exactly how they operate. So, when I say that, you know, if you need shades or blinds or custom furniture or anything, definitely reach out to Steve because
yeah,
for all his experience and the customer service is what matters the most. You're going to feel like you're getting your money's worth.
absolutely.
All right, Steve, thank you again, and we will chat soon.